It's live. Well, well, well. Hallelujah. I love to start a show with a great old hallelujah. Welcoming all of you to our 8th episode of Sacred Divine Union Bond, Raw and Real, because you know this is going to be Raw and Real with Heather and Louise. Welcome all the way from Queensland, Australia. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so
Thank you
sorry
so much.
waking you up super early to start the show with us.
Kia ora, and thank you for having us on. It's not really that early. We could have been up at 4 a.m.
No. No. No.
Why not?
I'm like, Louise, no thanks. That's a little too
I like my sleep.
Yeah,
she's a bit of a she likes to sleep, and I like to get up early.
Yeah.
And so I'll just go, darling, it's time to get up. And she goes, yeah.
5 more minutes, Mom. 5 more minutes.
that's how Michael and I too. I'm usually up as soon as I hear the birds, and I feel like they're calling. I have to be up with them just as they first start. And he likes to lay and still
I like my sleep, but I will congratulate both of you for being here. Thank you for rise and shine first thing in the morning, whether it's 9 or 7. We're just grateful that you guys are here, grateful that it all came together. You know what? We just flow with it. In these times, all you can do is just flow, embrace, and be. And that's what you guys did. You pulled it together and all came on. So no worries. We're just
Absolutely.
We did very well, considering we weren't even wearing any clothes when you first contacted us.
Okay, well, but
I have to tell you, I do look very much forward, Heather, to a time where we do this just naked in our birthday suits. Like, seriously, I love that. I feel like, you know, I've taken Michael to a bunch of naked beaches. That's what I prefer, because I don't understand the clothes. We're in nature. You want to be you. Like, what is that? You know?
Yeah, I'm not very keen on clothes. I actually like some of my clothes, but normally I'll get away with not wearing as much as possible, especially around our own house. And our own swimming pool areas. So if anybody texts and says, oh, we're going to come over, I said, as long as you know we're in the pool and we don't wear things in the pool.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so beautiful. So welcome. As you know, this hour or so we have together is really here to support those who are in sacred divine union. And as we get a chance to interact a little bit before, we recognize these unions they're so ancient, the bonds that have decided to come back together in this particular timeline in the evolution of Earth, but particularly for Terra. This Terra as the seat that she has to take on the Galactic Federation of Light. So many of us decided to merge, come together, and anchor our sacred flame together. And when we are in these unions, there's a lot we go through just to prepare it and to be able to anchor the flame. So this series is all about supporting others who are just coming into their union, or they're more recent in it, and they really could benefit from the wisdom passed on, because it's fun, it's magical, and it's everything in between, and a lot of hardships along the way, and yet a lot of beauty along the way. So everything is to be just laid out right here. And Michael and I usually write our questions before our guests come on. We don't share the questions with each other, so we can just ask the question and you can just share your wisdom with us.
Yeah, we're happy to hear you guys just have fun, speak from the heart, be yourself, and know that this is, you know, for the highest good of all, because we're just grateful to have you sacred hearts with us to enjoy these moments, to really speak from the fullness.
Yeah, and our bonds, our flames all coming together. In fact, I can already see the Lyran beings between us. It's like, wow, this is so wonderful. So Michael, why don't we have you start with the question?
So when you beautiful, dear sacred hearts first met each other, did you guys did you guys immediately like fall in love? Did you see each other's souls? Like sometimes there's those unions where when you look into each other's eyes, you immediately
I get this one.
Okay, Louise, go ahead.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, when I met Heather, and it's a typical, we've got a typical sort of like love story, I suppose, for me is like, you know, very first time I met Heather, we were at a pool game, you know, 8-ball, and it was just for lesbians, and I'm sort of taking my shot. There's a Bon Jovi song playing over the airwaves, and I can hear a lot of laughter and all the rest at the other table, because there's a big group of us. And I kind of like, oh, you know, what's going on over there? Because the table I'm with is like pretty dull and boring, and nobody's laughing, and they just like, play the game, you know. Okay. And I'm like, I want to be with somebody where there's fun. And I kind of looked up, and all I saw was the back of her. Okay. I just saw the back of her, and she had this
wings, sort of, large wings. No.
all around her was this golden,
angelic. I was.
You know, there was this golden aura. And I just, there was this immediate, like, it was like literally a punch in the chest, not hard or anything, but just like this. And I went, I remember my words, oh my God, who is she? I need to know her. I need to meet her tonight. Yeah. And everybody at the table was like, no, you don't want to meet her. No, nah. And it's just like, they were really serious. It wasn't even a joke. It was like, they were that serious.
Yes.
And of course, at that time, I was like, well, if you're going to tell me not to meet her, I want to really meet her, you know, because I was in the in-between stage of my growth and all the rest of it, because I just left the church, where I've been basically 3 years, you know, doing 3 years training to become a preacher. And I had left that because of the fact that I was gay, I was lesbian, and I was looking for my tribe, I was looking for my people, I was looking for what was next in my life. So I met her, and we actually did end up talking for about 15 to 20 minutes during that night. For me, it was just like,
yeah, you received it instantly.
Could you?
I just knew. It was just like, I looked at her and I thought, this is the lady, this is the person, I'm in New Zealand to meet.
Wow.
This is when we were still living in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, for me, it was just like that clear.
Heather, that wasn't the case for you?
Well, be honest, darling, we're on national viewing here.
No, because we see this a lot. Like sometimes one is instant, the other one just comes right after.
And remember, there's no wrong or right, good or bad. You know, it all just.
It's real.
It's just
well, there ain't any wrong or right in my life. It's all been a mix. But so that's good. I've been a bit of a wild kid, really, in a lot of ways. But look, what happened for me was I'd been in a really unpleasant relationship for 3¼ years, you know, in and out and out. And I finally had extracted myself from it, you know. And this is one of the things I think that you may have heard in some of your other interviews or your conversations with your friends who are in sacred unions, that there are often roadblocks or distractions on the way to pull us apart or keep us off. And I've had heaps of those, and we have, even in our relationship, people trying to pull us apart. It's been amazing. It doesn't happen anymore because we've recognized who we are in our relationship, and we're much stronger in our infinity together. But we've had all sorts of challenges. Anyway, prior to meeting Louise, I got out of this relationship, and I had a reading, I guess you'd call it, with Steve Rother in the group. From America. I was in New Zealand, and he brought the group through, and I just needed a bit of guidance. I didn't normally seek a lot of outside guidance, but it was a bit of a time in my life where I needed it. This was about 2007. And he said to me, he told me various things. And then he said, you're going to be meeting somebody within the next 7 months, 6 or 7 months. And I went, no, I'm not. He said, no, they're telling me very, very clearly that you are. And I said, what's this? And he said, it's a man that's going to come into your life. And I went, well, that could be interesting. I said, well, that would be even more interesting, but no, I'm not. And he said, it's a romantic liaison. And I said, well, you know, I prefer women, but you know, I try not to over label myself these days. You know, I'm definitely been with women the last 30 years, so that could be interesting. Yeah. So he said, well, it's presenting as a male energy, but it doesn't mean to say as it's not a female. Right. And you're going to be working with this person and a union of a romance of service. Wow. I went, no, I'm not. Anyway, so that was interesting, and I really respect Steve in the group. I really think he steps out of the way, and I honour his channeling ability. So I just let it go. Anyway, probably that was about December, January, February, March. Lo and behold, about 3 or 4 months later, that's when she saw me up at the pool place. And I forgot all about that reading, all about that message, and I thought she was an interesting, you know, slightly green behind the ears young woman. And I was, you know, and I'm always welcoming to people, and I just had a bit of a chat to her and stuff like that. And I went away that night to get some food and then to come back. And when I came back, her and a whole bunch of the others had all gone. I was going to continue the conversation, and she disappeared. I thought, oh.
She left her mark and she left after that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't get the big stars and rushes and auras or anything like that. I didn't get any of that, but I got a curiosity, a little seed of, who's that? There was something different about her.
That signature was there already.
Yes, something. So
that was 2006?
2008. We met.
Yeah, 2008.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, because we do hear quite a bit of this as we go, just like, you know, the stories. It's always beautiful. And that's why we share, because a lot of times we have been told before, like before I met Michael, 6 years before that, it was shown to me in spirit side, very detailed, you know. Or we've met others that say, well, or where Michael, before he met me, he had met a shaman that said, you are meeting this one, is coming, this is going to happen. So we share this because, yes, it's there because it's been seated within this etheric plane, and we're going to come into its frequency, and boom, it materializes right there. So, and the morning I met Michael, I just said to the universe, I said, whoever's supposed to come with me, because I had to do the planetary working and for 1212 and Tulum. I was supposed to in Brazil, and things changed. I just said it out loud. I said, whoever's supposed to be with me, bring him now. Boom, I met him that night. Just like that. It, like literally dropped them.
And Heather, I was the same way. I usually don't like seek outwardly for readings, but I was in Bali finishing up months of shamanic training, and I met someone that I was just create a good friendship with. And so I had a reading, and interesting, half of the reading was kind of like geared toward taking classes, following her lead, and just feeling like, okay, there's the part of the reading I don't get. But the other part of the reading said, I'm going to meet a shaman that's going to help me close my business in Mexico. I'm going to meet her in Tulum, and all these little things that I listened to. But then again, I just allowed it to be energy, not attached to it, no expectation.
And you didn't look for it either.
I didn't look for it. It just, you know, manifested within, you know, a month, 2 months later, after, you know, coming home back to the United States. So it's always interesting how the universe brings our beautiful hearts together.
So it is incredibly, but Lou missed out some of the former part of the story of how she ended up at this pool room. Because we've got a couple, as you have, we've got energies, ascended masters and angelics and other of our
you tell it, sweetheart, you tell it so well.
Our cosmic family team who work with us very, very closely. And I've been aware of these energies for years, since I was a kid, and then I shut it down, then I opened it up again. And, you know, and apparently Louise,
should I tell it?
You should tell it. It's your story, how she got up there. Like, even her getting there that night was a miracle.
It was. I'm very shy, believe it or not.
Not really.
And I don't like putting myself into circumstances or situations where I don't know anybody. It's like a protection thing for myself. So I found this group that was going to meet, and it was their first event that they were running with the lesbian, what they call the lesbian pool night. And I emailed out to find out where it was going to be held, what, you know, time, etc., etc. And I didn't get a reply back, and I went, oh, okay, well, fine. If they haven't replied by 5 o'clock, I'm not going, I'm just going to go home. And I was closing, where I was working at that particular time, it was my turn to shut the office down and make sure everything was lock up and go. And so I left I know it takes me about 5-10 minutes to do that. So I left my desk at 4 to 5. No, there was no response. I went around, and it took me about 10 minutes this time to close up and all the rest of it. Got back to my desk, checked my emails, and this was like 5:05. No response. I went, yes, no reply. I don't have to put myself out. I don't have to make myself feel awkward and uncomfortable, you know. As I was about to close the computer down, bing, bing, message, you've got mail, sort of thing. Opened it up, it was them. Sorry, it's so late, time, date, all the rest. And I'm like, oh, man, because I promised myself if they'd done that, I would go. Yeah. So I went to the meeting place, which was only about a 10-minute walk from my office anyway. And I get to the doors. It's these old saloon type doors here. You got to push them open and they swing. You know, those sort of sort of things, yeah. So I get there and I'm like, oh, my stomach just goes like this. And I go, no, turn on, I go, start to go back. And I get this little in my ear, like a flea in my ear, and it's like, get in there. It was loud. It was like, get in there. Who spoke to me, you know? So I went in, and I don't know if you've ever seen this style of stair where you go up a flight of stairs and it like has a flat bit and then more stairs that. So I get to that middle part and I'm like, can't do this. And I go all the way downstairs through the doors and I'm heading back home. And I don't know if you know this, the state saying, you grab by the collar and the breeches and you march them person forward. Yeah, so it's literally like, you know, you're doing like this. I literally felt a hand hook me under my belt, of my waistband and my collar, and push me back through the door, up the stairs, and kept pushing me up all the way up until there was just absolutely no way that I could not go forward, you know. And I'm looking like this, like who's, you know, there's no one behind me. Years later, with Heather and I talking about this, and I'm in channel, and she's like having a and this is often she say, oh, let's have tea with Safita, let's have dinner with Safita, and so the energy comes through. We're having a chat and all the rest of it, and it came up about my going in there, and they were saying, yes, Katumi and I were not going to let her go because she needed to meet you.
No,
you know, it's almost like.
Exactly. You do hear this because there's always, I mean, we come with such a ginormous team, and the team, once that has been put into motion, this soul agreement has to be delivered. They're not going to back down. They're going to make sure this happens, and we totally know that. So thank you for that. It's so beautiful. We always get very excited to learn about that first initial. So let me take it to the next question. This is one of the questions that that does come up because each of the unions have a specific signature that is part of this planetary ascension and its service. The flame is to deliver a specific call because it has a specific signature. So if I was to ask you, what would you say your sacred union signature is of service? What would that be?
That's a great question. I wish I'd had time to think about that one.
No, feel it. You know it. You can't think it. You know what yours is.
I know. Well, Louise and I, we see ourselves and we know that we're the positive and the negative of a battery. Okay. So our sacred signature is really connected to probably the oversoul energy that we've come from, yeah?
It's to me, it's grounding in the truth of self-responsibility, of teaching it, of taking ownership, of being a mirror so that others can reflect back, so that they can see areas that we've struggled in, that we've overcome, and we've got tools, and they can use those tools to implement and to mimic what we've done.
And also as a database of knowledge and information, or flow of energy connection, whether it be in symbol form or written form or whatever form that comes out for people who are ready to pick up on and utilize in their life. So we're like the positive and negative of a battery, grounded here in this realm, and accessing that information, that divine higher information, for lack of a better word, and it comes through both of us. A lot of it comes through Lou, all through me, all through our connection, and is disseminated out in various forms for people to pick up on and use in life, because people see us. People who already see us, and they come, and they don't even know why they're there sometimes. And it might be 5 minutes, it might be 5 years, it doesn't matter.
Yes, thank you for that, because it is exactly the unions. They are positioned on Terra on different parts, just so that we are the living keys. So the codes come in so they can be open up and disseminate, like you said, through us, because we are in that. But each of us as the signature carrying a specific part of this planetary card, and it's very always exciting to hear what you believe your flame represents. So thank you for that.
Especially when you can really show the reflection and the mirror back. It's beautiful, because I feel many people can really be inspired and be motivated and see what the union is bringing forth to give them the visual of what's before them. So it's always a blessing of what transpires through all this. So thank you very much. How does this is for both of you guys, how does your partner inspire you to be a better person?
I love that question.
What partner? Sorry, who?
That was a beautiful question.
You want to answer that?
No, you go first.
Okay. When I see the service that Louise offers as a very clear, humble and divine channel of information and energy, coding and all sorts of things, and I look back on that recording sometimes, because I do a lot of the editing before we place things up, and I'm looking at her and I'm seeing how she stepped aside to allow the truth, that divine energy, to come through, and she's done that so magnificently. I am just humbled, and it makes me appreciate what she does, and it helps me to also likewise be in that place of humility, and to remember to step aside and be an allowance to the divine creator. It's a reminder for me, and I love her even more when I see that. I don't think I've ever told her that, but I do.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Heather.
you so much.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you, babe. You know, I often, when we've been working together with doing energy healing, or Heather's been giving somebody else some advice to assist them, because Heather's gifting isn't like mine, where I don't channel. Yeah, I channel. She channels, but in a different way. She channels her higher self, her higher consciousness, and when she works with people, even if it's with me or with other people with energy healing, counsel, just listening to other people and giving guidance, it's almost like I see her standing beside herself. It's like her higher self comes in and her voice changes, her face changes a little bit. There's that softness that comes in it with the angled sharpness of like, don't BS me. Listen to what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is truth. She never says that, but there's just that energy, you know. And I've watched other people how they sort of shift in their seats a little bit, and then they settle and they listen, and I go, wow. There's the gems, there's the gold. I've also seen, you know, I mean, that inspires me to want to talk like that normally with people, you know, without me having to channel to get that kind of attention, so to speak, you know. But
attention seeker.
Yeah, I'm just an attention seeker. But one of the biggest parts where I've really admired Heather, and I've had to really give credence to her gifting, is that over the last 3 years I've been bringing through a series of books, and I just download the information, and I don't see where the errors are. I don't see the misspelling, the words back to front and all the rest of it, because it's just out there, you see. And she'll spend hours going through it, line by line, page by page, and then going back through it again, making sure that everything's correct. And she'll come to me and say, what are they trying to say here? And I'm like, don't change it, because it's what I channeled. And it's like, I'm all precious, because it's like, it's the channeled information, you know. And she's like, hey, babe, we have to do it so people understand what you're saying, you know. So, you know, and her patience with me in those areas, just again, just goes like, how does she do it, you know? And I do, the love I have for her, I can't quantify. It's just there, and it's just.
Thank you so much.
She inspires me. Yeah, she's just beautiful.
We love hearing these things. And Michael and I do relate to the channeling part quite a bit with you, because I'm the TransMedium, TransChanneler, and usually I get incorporated. So I have zero memory of what took place, because I'm completely on this end. And they're talking to me, and they're usually talking to Michael. So exactly. So the Michael is the one who's recording and doing all of that, because I only experience things in geometric shape and the colors, what is when it's speaking. So I have like, and especially when they fully entered, like there's a complete change of, I mean, the presence is completely so. And then usually I don't want to talk about it. I want nothing to do with it, because I just want to be back here where me, and because I've stepped so far aside, and usually he wants to have the discussion, what happened, what do I remember? I want no part in it. But Michael,
I get excited,
Michael like writes all of it, and God bless him, like the patience. Like, because I don't even want to look at the material, honestly.
To me, it's such a divine energy that's so sacred. It's like so full of reverence, and I honor you both, Heather and Louise, because you know, when I'm recording it, because it's you know, the voice is an altered voice, and so the challenge is to go back and really listen to what the words are, because it's not of clear English. You're hearing it, but you know, the pauses, and then to write it down, to say, how are you going to translate it so people can see it? And so I'm writing it exactly as is, but then I look at it and say, well, is this understandable, so people can, you know, receive the reverence and vibration behind it, without trying to get to that type A of like, well, this doesn't make sense because there's pauses and there's like, it just doesn't make sense. But honoring the true channel itself is what's so important. So thank you for sharing
that. So I have a question to ask you. In the union, we know there's a part in the union that's just, I mean, the strength of divine in the union is profound. So if I were to ask you, what is that in your union? The strength is, it's just untouchable, unfuckable, nothing. It is just, and then the opposite flip of it, there's an area in the union that has not, in all of the union, still hasn't evolved yet. And you know, what is that?
Great. What a wonderful question. I'll hand that over to Louise.
Yeah.
We'll both answer, but What's your take on that, my love?
I think the unbreakable for us is, it's just the solidity of our commitment to each other. And yet at the same time, I'm going to say that the breakable of us is the commitment to each other. You know, because if something can get us to fracture that commitment, they've broken the divine connection. We've broken that divine connection. That link that enables me to feel safe enough, to feel secure enough, to do the work that I do. The link that I believe that I give Heather, that when she does what she needs to do, she's in a safe place to do it. That I hold her space, she holds my space. If that was ever removed, if that was ever fucked with it, you know, if that was ever disseminated, it would leave us in very watery areas. For me, this is my personal intake. But beyond that as well, is it's like, you know, if I was to say, you know, go right back to when I first met Heather, there was just this vibration, this call, this link, this awareness that I could stand behind her, in front of her, next to her, and I knew exactly who she was. I can sit with her today. I see the human, but I know the energy,
the presence.
That's the unbreakable.
Gotcha. Beautiful.
And it doesn't matter how fractious the relationship is at times, because every relationship has a bit of friction, but that solidity comes through, that being comes through, and I go, that's what I love. I might not like the outside, but it's the inside.
Gotcha.
That's what I love, and that's what keeps me connected with all of that which is going on. I mean, the outside's pretty cool too.
Yeah, of course.
I'm glad you quantified that, actually.
So Heather,
not like this. This is licorice face, you know. It's all swollen up.
I said to her this morning, what happened to your face? And she said, it must have been a licorice. I said, whatever. and then you started ringing. I went, help!
I haven't had time to get my face down.
that's all right.
So for me, well, Lou, you said it really beautifully. It's a great question because it's complex in many ways, but the absolutely unbreakable is, as Louise has said, is our energy that's come from divine creator, is swirled on down in here into these tiny little bodies. Sometimes I go, how did I end up so short and small? And in these bodies is absolutely unbreakable, an unbreakable bond of total commitment to come and do, now that we know what we're doing, and just to put it bluntly, and to keep doing it for as long as we're together. That will never stop. Nobody, nothing will ever stop that. And believe you me, we've had many groups.
We do know. We've actually.
We've been
very well.
We've been pushed into the dark room. We've been cut off. You know, all sorts of things. And it's totally unbreakable. That divine energetic commitment is totally unbreakable, and nothing's going to stop it. Nothing. And so that is unbreakable. What do we need to? I think I'm a great player. I love to play, but I can be very serious. And Lou's learnt to play a lot more. We need to play more. If we need to do anything in our relationship, we need to remember to put time aside and to play a lot more and to flow and to, you know, we've got this wonderful union of service and we are very committed with that, but we need to play together.
And that's quite amazing because, you know, I've often thought, why did Creator bring us together? Because I came from a family that was very, we didn't play together, you know. My brother and my sister did their own thing. My mom did her own thing, and I read books. That's how I entertain myself.
Yeah.
You know, I would hide away in books. And then I listened to Heather's family and how they were playing cards and board games and they were doing this together and that, and I'm like, going, weird people, you know. But since this, I mean, like, I now play backgammon, I now play cards, you know, we do things together. So yeah, so
but we rough and tumble too.
But we rough and tumble too. Yeah.
Because you know, we're very physical in our family. It's 3 girls, and we used to play and rough and tumble, and sometimes it used to get a bit too rough when we were young. But I like playing. I like physical playing.
Yeah.
You know, I love it.
I resonate that. I remind Honey a lot because Honey is a great worker. She's a workhorse. She's a Taurus, so she's a full-on energy. Like, it goes straight. And I played growing up. I'm like a child at heart. So to play and to have the ability to fully just, you know, step back, because we can serve our dear hearts all day long and we can be committed in what we do, but also that innocence of play brings that childlike nature and that level where we don't take ourselves so serious all the time, so we can just enjoy the present moment. So thank you very much.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
What is your greatest lesson that has awoken within your sacred divine union? Like, when you look at your union, what is one of the biggest lessons that each of you have learned? That the union awoke in them. Yes.
That's a great question.
Well, that's a wonderful question. I think is that how honored and how respected we are by the divine energies we work with, actually. It's which has helped me to honor my own journey much more. The reflection back from the divine energies that work with us, they're letting us know how beautiful and unique our journey is because of our union. And, you know, they never go, how wonderful you are, or what a wonderful job you're doing. But I sense the energy of divinity recognition through them to us and our union. They know it's not easy. But they don't go on about it because that's not what divinity does. Divinity, the divine, honors in a different way, and it comes in, and for me it permeates through our union, our relationship, and they're honoring of us. And so that has helped me to honor myself and our union a lot more. That's been a wonderful gift for me. You know, it's
so beautiful.
It really has.
So beautiful. Thank you for that, Heather. What about you, Louise?
Wow. I want to say that's a really hard question to answer, but there's a part of me that's going, but you know the answer.
Yeah.
I think being with Heather in this union and in this this current state of being that we are enjoying has awoken in me an awareness and an appreciation for what we do have. What do I mean by that? Well, we have been gifted, blessed with a divine abundance of knowledge, of tools. I know that I have the beautiful gift of being able to go and sit in front of my computer, clear my mind, clear my energy, and just say, okay, guys, what's the next lesson? What's the next series of teachings you want to bring through? And I can just let it come through. I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have the security of knowing that Heather was holding my space for me. I wouldn't have the security or the guts to do that if I didn't know that because of our connectivity with each other and also having that divine link. If that wasn't secure, I wouldn't do what I was doing. So it's made me appreciate the talents that have been given to me, all the more, and not to waste them. You know.
Yes.
And I know that there is so much more for us. when that happens, how it unfolds, I don't know. I can't give you time, date, and whatnot, but I just have a knowing.
Yeah.
And that knowing always comes from the fact that when I'm clear this way,
Yeah.
then it flows this way.
Yes, definitely.
You know, so
so
for me, I think that's the best way I can answer that question.
Beautiful. Thank
it's
you.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
We fully relate. Completely.
Thank you.
Completely relate. So okay, so here's another question. So Michael and I usually, for example, we collaborate. I mean, like you guys, we facilitate ceremonies, events. I mean, we constantly, we live together, work together, everything is together. And like it together. It's like a never ending together. But one of the things that we absolutely love when we facilitate healing sessions on a person together, and sometimes couple, they come and both come and we're both in that space and we are both doing our part, and then that space in which we interact, I would probably say the thing that I say we love, I would say for me, what I love most about us is that it is like freaking badass superhero shit goes down, like, you know, what we do in there, like, and it's like, and it's untouchable. We haven't met another couple like within that space that work together like that on healing sessions, and then together we pull it in. And I feel probably you are like, you do that in that way, like you pull it in together and you each independently, but the way it comes and both individuals receive. So in collaboration with each other, this is my question. You have to stay above everything else and not get any of your belief systems, BSS, anything get between your way. Right? So my question for you, how do you, each of you, if you would answer that, what is it you do, Heather? What is it, Louise, you do when you come in that space? You know, okay, there's nothing that's a space, like Michael and I can be pissed off at each other, but when we go in there and there's nothing that gets in that space. So what is it about you in your collaboration that allows you to stay above, not let this take any impact on you whatsoever within that space?
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, let it go first.
Yeah, that's true. You know, it's about me. No. I remember a time when we were learning a particular modality from my Palladian mentor. He was teaching. He was coming through. He was channeling through me. And teaching us at the same time. Yep. So go. That was interesting. Go figure. But he said one thing. He said, when you go to administer, when you go to work on another's energy, remember this thing. It's not about you. It has nothing to do with you. It is all about that person. So you could be full of flu, having a bad temper, having a bad day, angry, this, that, the next thing. The minute you step into the healing room, you leave that outside. You bring it in. He says, I will personally come in and push you out the door. You know? I mean, like, he's never done that, but I've never gone that far either. But the thing is, when that's always like stuck in my energy and in my memory. And it's not just with the healing, it's with everything we do. If I get in the way, and if I start to, and it's like I can go into the sort of like meditative state, and I start getting connected, and I go, now what do I know about this person? Immediately, if I do that thought, I feel the energy lifting. It just lifts, and I go, and I've got to start all over again. So for me, it's having a consciousness about me that I am just, and this is the best picture for me because it keeps me really out of the way. I'm just a hose pipe. I'm a garden, ordinary hose pipe. I attach one part of me to the tap of the universe, and the other part's the sprinkler onto the person that's here. And you know, you can't get glamorous about a hose pipe. No. You can't get high in this, you know, like, I'm just the hose pipe in the world, you know? It's like a hose pipe's a hose pipe. So that helps me keep very grounded and very humble, and sort of loyal to what the client, what the person, what my friend, what my partner, what the universe wants to do at that moment. And I've noticed that the more I can become the host pipe, the higher level of energy flows into that room. And we've seen some absolutely gorgeous things happening on the table.
Thank you for that.
Well, yeah, I totally concur with that. And in order to honor what our service is, in order to honor the divine and the flow of energy, I have to be out of the way. And so Lou and I have an agreement from way back that we will not work together unless our ego, our humanity is out of the way. Stepped aside. In fact, we'll check each other before we walk into a room to do a workshop or to do some healing together or anything like that. And if one of us is not looking like we're in balance, we'll check each other. We'll go, hey, listen, what's going on? This is our agreement. You need to sort that out before we get into this room together.
If that happens, do you actually listen to each other?
Yep, we do.
That's very important. Nobody has a shit, right? Like, you pointed it out.
Yeah, we'll point each other's shit out if we have to. We've got an agreement. We're allowed to do that, and we just go. We have to sort this out. In fact, once I remember years ago, we're about to go off and do very early on, 2010. We're about to go and do a channeling at a public area in the town city we were living in, and Lou lost the plot. She said couldn't do it. And
I don't know what happened, but I did.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happened. And it was like, hang on, what?
I started to doubt myself.
She started to doubt, started to check, and we had all these people were about to turn up. And I went, well, I said, well, you're getting in the way of what you've come to do. And I said, you need to sort it out. And I think it's an aspect. We work with things called aspects, and we use integration tools, release tools. Also, we had a few different things in our little, purse there that we could go, okay, what's going on?
Tool belt, please. Tool belt.
Yeah, tool belt, purse. Purse for me, tool belt for her. Whatever, not for me. And so she worked through it, but it was major stuff. She wasn't going to go.
Yeah.
It took me about 10 minutes to actually work through it.
Yeah.
And shift it strongly enough.
More than that. It took longer than that.
Yeah. But I was very, very, very clear, very thorough with myself. And I would never have done it if Heather hadn't said, oi, what's happening? What's going on?
Thank you so much for that.
That was a benchmark. From that point, there was a real benchmark set. So it was actually good that it happened because we'll remember that and we'll go, well, we can't let anything interfere with us. And so that's it. Like Lou, just a hose pipe. When we step into the workshop space and we're working together, we do it in very different ways. Yeah. A lot of people in the early days didn't even know what my role is, and that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because I know who I am and what I'm doing in this union,
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. So this next one, allow your heart to feel it, because I know when I ask you it, you're going to be like, wow, there's so many answers for this. So just allow your heart to feel this. What is the one thing you truly love about your partner? And you can look into each other's eyes when you say this to each other to make it even more.
I really love Louise's deep love for me. I can feel it. When I feel that deep love that she has for me, I'm blown away. In fact, I used to hide a little bit from it, but not so much now.
we feel it on this end. Really.
I love it. I can feel that love, and I go, my goodness, that love is pure.
Oh.
And I don't think I've experienced that to that sort of open depth beyond humanity, beyond the human understanding before. And I love that. It feels, can't put it into words. I did it the best I could.
Thank you.
We feel the vibration. Thank you. Thank you, Heather.
I was going to say I love her cooking, but I can't say that now.
Why
not? No, I was actually just going to say, which a little jokingly, I said that she's the best cook that I know. She's just really great. But in truth, what I love about my wife is that she has integrity. And that integrity holds her, grounds her. And when other people come against her with their BS, her integrity just holds her straight. She goes, it's not my truth. It's not my truth. It's not who I am. This is who I am. And I take strength from that. I learn from that. But she's a damn good cook.
Yeah, wonderful.
As she is. As Honey is the
like,
best.
I'm the cook. Thank you.
Lou cooks too. We're both good at cooking. But thank you for that question.
That's beautiful.
I really felt that. Thank you. Like, it just really felt. You really felt. So as it usually does that. Yeah. And so I have another question then before we wrap it up. So in your union, the sacred flame, and especially this sexual energy, this has been one with all of us. We have really wild experiences within this place. So have you experienced higher dimensional beings of being literally inside your union in your sexual energy, whether it has been portals opening, like, you know, or gateways, or like, for example, I've had 3 pyramids open up above me, and while we are like in our sexual energy union together, all kinds of wildness. So have you experienced particular high dimensional being coming in between you two while you're in your, let's say, in your actual union? I told you it's raw and real.
We have had some unusual experiences. I know Louise has had some unusual experiences, haven't you? For me, more the experience of completely opening up, the crown chakra opening up and blowing up and out, sort of, so to speak, like being like a channel of facial energy.
I've been very aware of I suppose you call it geometrical patterns, and spinning around. And there was one particular time where we were very intimate, and it was just a case of like, it literally felt like a pillar of light was exploding from both of us. And piercing through the heavens, going way up like a beacon, and then just spreading out like just fireworks. It was just, you know, for me, it's more a case of like, when I'm in that space, it's the patterns, the geometrical patterns that keep.
That's what I usually experience.
Downloading.
Mine is like that. Yeah.
And when I've questioned my team, I've said, what's happened? They've said the times where, and it's been more than one occasion, but it's the times where it pierces through the heavens. I've been told that is the closest to the divinity that we get.
And it's coming down. Right.
And And so it's like we're sending the beam up, and then the beam comes down.
Exactly.
It's just I've often said to Heather afterwards, I said, man, did you see the fireworks?
Yeah.
You know, but and it's not just fireworks that you get to see on 4th of July.
No. I fully relate. The geometric, like I see it all day. Yeah. We had one time a wild experience where literally there was the flash of Saint Germain's violet flame came between us, and we both were we were gone. We were passed out. We don't know what happened. And then we were still literally merged, and then we were gone. We were gone for half an hour or something. We just wiped out, like gone, left.
Wow.
And then we both came back in, and we don't know what happened. But all I remember, I did enter with Michael with a cape. We went into a temple. I don't remember past that, but I still don't have full memory. But it's been like literally like while we were with each other, like the light, the violet flame came, like surrounded us, and the next thing we were gone. We both just wiped out.
We have to attain that, but we will work on that one.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, and a few other ones, but off the video.
Off record.
Exactly. So as we wrap up, Michael, like what would you like, what we usually ask, is there anything coming up for both of you, like events or anything like that our audience can learn about in the next couple of months, so they can get in touch with you? Because
how they can get in touch with you as well.
I have all that information for them that are
Yeah. We've got a website, it is cosmic.com, and a YouTube channel, it is cosmic.com.
Right.
And Lou's just released her 2 books. The first one she started in 2018, and they're about the Lyran, the ancient galactic humanoid race, the Lyran, Lyran, not Lion. It's very different, and the books are directly related to what's happening on our planet at this time. And when she started them in 2018, we didn't know we were going to be eventing so quickly into this massive clearing and exposure of energy. And so we've got those. As far as public events, well, normally we're doing a lot more traveling by now, but we see that will open up when it opens up. And we do have a retreat in Queensland, in Cairns, coming up in June.
Excellent.
And you can see that you can join us there on our website. Okay. We'd love to have people, particularly from Australia, that can come on in and join us at that. All the masters will be there. There'll be teachings, meditations, lots of fun and tropical Queensland. We have a Tuesday group, a regular Tuesday group that we run, and you can go onto our website, have a look at the members options and join us there. And we do a channeling, we do a teaching. It's a very beautiful community of high energy learning. So that's just a couple of things, but if you go to the website, you can check out all the...
And we'll push that all on the bottom of the YouTube video and here, so individuals can learn about that as well.
And I just wanted to say thank you, dear Sacred Hearts, not only for rising early this morning, but just going with the flow and how the universe provides these magical moments, because I feel so many people, when they can hear your sacred vibration, when they can feel your deep love, it is so important in this time to cherish that. It's so important for us to listen to that and really draw the greatest reverence, because each of you are very, very powerful beings. And when you come together as a union and share that power and share that service, it activates all those that are listening. It activates the collective and what's being done. So I just want to give a deep heart thanks in what you're doing and what you're creating, and most important, what you're loving in your service, because we've all come down for this grand awakening party, as you would probably say, or Earth School that's happening right now, and to meet others around the world, especially in our beloved country of Australia. It's a gift that we can connect these thousands of miles across the world and share these beautiful experiences. So thank you.
Yeah, and for that, I just want to ask, if your union wanted to pass on a message, like from its wisdom, to those who are just coming into their union, what would your union want to pass on to the newbies, let's say?
I think I would say, or we would say, maybe, if you concur, is that it is a time for knowing who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let other people tell you who you are.
Yeah.
Come into your own quiet space of discernment and knowing. This is the time for the inner truth, inner truth of knowing.
Yeah.
And from there, all will be revealed.
And I would add one other thing, that you know, when two people come together in a sacred union, they look at this person and they look at this union and that union and this union, and they have this like expectation. Expect nothing, absolutely nothing, except the unexpected, because that which comes into your realm, that which comes into your space of being, that which comes into you to define and to discern is yours. It's not anybody else's. When the union comes together in such intensity and the divinity drops a gifting in there, that gifting is for you to unpack and to begin to explore, so that you can present it to the world. It's not up to Heather and I to have that gifting that you've been given, or HoniB and Michael to have that gifting that you've been given and do something with it. You've been given something. You learn how to activate it. You learn how to work with it, because when you do, nobody can take it away from you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And also,
excellent.
it becomes stronger in you.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, thank you so much. That was fantastic, just delicious, fantastic. Thank you so much. And we really give so much gratitude again for your time, for your energy, for your sacred presence, and most importantly, your beautiful, amazing sacred flame that has been ignited to be of service for this planetary cause. So thank you so much for answering that. And we give so much gratitude to all of our audience that tuned in today. And we'll check back, read the comments, see who had questions, and then we reshare this, because we just let this be for now. And we love you so much. We're just a messenger away from each other. You're always welcome to also come
Honey,
on again.
If I could say that if anybody's got any questions relating to what we've said and they want to reach out to us, please, they just need to reach out to us personally, and we will answer the questions that they've got.
Definitely, definitely. And we'll post that information, your information on the bottom here. So much love to you both. Thank you so much again. Thanks to everyone. And please hold on for me 1 second while we get off here. One moment, please.